Hey, Jody Holland here, back with the next vlog. Today we're going to be talking about how you solve problems in a professional setting. In fact, it's how you solve problems anywhere. So as we go through today, what I hope that you get is how you prep for the problem, how you deal with the problem, and at the end of the day, how the problem goes away and never comes back. Make sure you check out the description, subscribe to this vlog, and I do mean subscribe because I want you around. Also, make sure you pick up your copy of Yay, I'm a Supervisor. Oh man, I'm a Supervisor, now what? All of the information is in here. Use this vlog in conjunction with the book to do a book study at your organization. And I know what you're thinking, but Jody, I want to hire you to come in. That's totally okay too. Reach out to us, we'd love to help you. Today, as we talk about problem solving, I want to start with what the three basic responses are to when a problem exists. And I put this in a little acronym because I love acronyms, and it is BAM! We either blame somebody else, we accept that the problem is there and must be solved, or we go and measure the problem to figure out how bad of a problem it is. To be honest, I think we do a combination of all three of these. Most of us, well, the first time we see the problem, we'll go, do I really have to accept this, or can I blame someone else? I don't want this to be my fault. And so we look for an external way to explain it because that's human nature. We then go, no, this is me, I'm responsible. I always teach people you've got to ask the question, in this situation with the resources that I have, what can I do to make it better? When you take that personal accountability approach, what you find is that you move the problem out of being a problem and into being a solution. I think the biggest mistake that we make is we jump straight to solutions, which is the third basic response. You've got to measure it, not just solve it. If we go in and they go, we have a turnover problem in our workplace, people go, let's pay more money. I actually remember an IBM commercial where they're all around the round table, the Knights of the Round Table, and they're talking about this problem. They're storming the gates. What do we do? And they're all looking around and talking, we don't know. And they look over at this guy and they go, Consultant Ned, what should we do? And Ned goes, I believe that we should load valuable objects into a projectile and hurl them at the problem. They all kind of pause and they go, are you suggesting we throw money at the problem? And he goes, yes, I am. See, that's the problem. If you jump straight to that, you completely miss how to solve the problem. Turnover, as an example, happens not because of a lack of money. Turnover happens because of a lack of the right culture. When you create the right culture and you develop people intentionally and you pay them so that money is off the table, then you don't have a problem with turnover. We've got to measure what's going on and focus on how we get to a solution or what our need is, not on what the problem is. If your focus is on the problem, you're going to continue to perpetuate the problem. What you focus on expands. So let's focus on the need and that solution as opposed to the problem and what's restricting us. As we're gathering our data and starting to measure things, there are two types of data, and that's it. Qualitative data, that's when we interview people and find things out, do some open-ended employee surveys, things like that. It's a way for people to share information with us, but it's not tied to a specific metric. It's just open-ended where we're getting an idea. Typically, you'll do qualitative research on something before you go to the next step, which is quantitative research. The quantitative data, that's measurable. We can match this against that to know where we're at. If we look at those, what we're really trying to do is go, let me deep dive into the conversation. Now let me put some measurement against it. Now we know exactly where we are. So qualitative first, quantitative second. And if you'll do it in that order, you'll get the best view of where you're at. As you're gathering your data, there's a C4 model that I put together that you have to follow. First, collect it. If you've not collected enough data to make good decisions, the data can never tell you a story. The data will tell you a story if you're listening and if you're paying attention. The big problem most people have though is, let's say that we went in and did an employee survey for you and it comes back that you have a fear-based culture and this is wrong and this is wrong, and you go, it must just be unhappy employees. You have to listen to the data that you're collecting. In order to listen the most effectively, you follow the second C, which is clean it up. Get rid of the extreme this way, extreme that way, and focus on what the data is really saying. It will give you an image of what's going on in the organization or in that specific problem. The next C that you use is categorize it. I want to categorize by department. I want to categorize by how people view their boss or how they view their coworkers or things like that. I want to get this data organized in such a way that I can say I want to look at just this right now. Now I want to pull this piece out, and now I want to look at the overall picture together. The better you are at categorizing it, the easier it is to understand what the story is behind the data. And then the final C is challenge it. You do want to have a discussion and go, is that real? Were we having a bad day? Is this just one thing that happened? So you collect it, you clean it up, you categorize it, and you challenge it. Once you've done that C4 model for your data collection, then you have the actual story of what's going on. The next thing that we do is we analyze the data. When we analyze it, we're looking for themes that are within the data. We have a consistent message, we have a consistent this or a consistent that. When you find those themes, that unlocks the underlying theme of the story that the data is providing for you. Doing all of this up front before you actually solve the problem sets you up for success. If you do not collect the data, analyze the data, and interpret the data, you will solve the wrong problem. One of the Fortune 50 that I was working with a few years back, I asked a question of their internal consulting team. I said, how many brand new problems have you seen in the last year? They were thinking and thinking and thinking and finally went, none. I said, what about 2 years, 3 years? We went all the way back. It was 7 years prior since they had seen a brand new problem they had not dealt with before. The thing that I said was, if it is predictable, you know you're having the same problem over and over again, then it is preventable. If you find that you thought you solved it and it came right back, chances are what you did is you solved a symptom of the problem, but not the root cause of the problem. We want to keep digging deeper and deeper until we solve what caused the problem so that we never have to deal with the problem again. A simple exercise that you can do is called the 5 why exercise. We say, this happened. We go, why? And we say, well, because of this. Why? Because of this. Why? Because of this. Why? There's no magic number. 5 is just kind of a standard that I have found is the number of times you have to ask why before you get all the way down to the root cause. Dig deep. Don't just throw out solutions. Dig into the problem, analyze it, figure out what's going on, and do your research. Then you get to solve. S-O-L-V-E. The S is for state the need. Don't state the problem. You say, we have a turnover problem. What do we need? We need to retain our employees. That is different than stop turnover or reduce turnover. Your focus is on what do you do that makes them want to stay when you focus on retention. So you have a different approach that you would take to solving the issue. The problem is that we are not retaining our people, which is creating turnover, which is a result of the problem existing. Why are people leaving? Why are we not retaining them? Well, because they don't feel valued and appreciated. Well, why do they not feel valued and appreciated? You keep digging deeper until you can say, this is our need. So you state the need and you state it in a positive form. We need to accomplish X because you want to focus on that accomplishment and expanding that one thing. The O is open it up for discussion and brainstorming. During brainstorming, you want to set a parameter for the amount of time that you spend coming up with ideas. As an example, you would say, I want to come up with as many ideas as we can in the next 10 minutes. My goal is 50 ideas. You're going for quantity because as an idea is generated, people might take that and go, oh, what if we combine these two? We'll get this idea. Or that makes me think about that. It's not quality, it's quantity, and there's no evaluation of the ideas when you're going through the brainstorming phase. Easy way to do this, throw out the dumbest idea you can think of, and that's the way you move things forward. As an example, one of the things that we do as an exercise, we do the Magnum 44 marker company. And when I'm doing my training programs, say we've got these markers, we forgot to put ink in them for a whole week. We produce 200,000 markers a day, that's 1 million markers in 1 week. We're gonna go broke if we don't figure out how to sell these uninked markers. So the need is we need to sell these markers for at least $1 each. When I throw out the dumbest, worst, most awful idea I can think of, I say something like, sell them to blind kids, they'll never know they don't work. And you go, what? That is the worst idea ever. But every idea after that sounds pretty awesome, because that is literally the dumbest idea that I could think of. You're setting it up where you have the dumb idea so all of their ideas are comfortable. You don't have somebody say, well, what if we use them for marketing? You go, that'll never work. I don't want to do that. Somebody else, come up with a good idea. That was a bad idea. You've immediately cut off creativity if you evaluate during this phase. So open it up for discussion and brainstorm without evaluation, but set a time frame and a goal for as many ideas as you can get. The L is let go of what doesn't work. Is it legal? Is it moral? Is it ethical? Is it possible? I want to know those kinds of things. So I'm looking at this idea about selling blankets. I'm like, that is not moral, it's not ethical, it's awful. Who thought of that horrible idea? Cross it off. So we get rid of all the things that we know immediately won't work. We get them out of there. If it's not legal, not moral, not ethical, not possible, it's gone. The V is for vet the remaining ideas and implement. As we vet the ideas, what we're looking at is what is the efficacy of the idea or the viability of the idea to know which ones are the best. You're going to choose one or a combination of ideas. You're then going to assign who's going to do what, by when, with what measurement. Remember, what do you want? When do you want it? How are you going to measure it? And then we make our assignments and move on. As we vet the ideas and then implement, we have to keep in our mind that we're going to come back for the E, which is evaluate the results that we got. If we trust one another and we've built a good culture, we'll come back and very honestly say, oh, that was not the right idea. It didn't work. It didn't get us the result we wanted. Totally my fault. Here's what I should have done. We own our decisions. We own our choices. So when you're solving, you state the need, you open it up for discussion and brainstorming, you let go of what doesn't work, you vet the remaining ideas and implement the ideas, and then you evaluate what happened and determine, did we get what we wanted? That is how you solve a problem. I'm Jody Holland with the Psyche of Success. Don't forget to subscribe to this vlog. Also share it with your friends, share it with your neighbors, share it with anybody that you meet on the street. I'm totally okay with that. Also pick up your copy of Yay, I'm a Supervisor. Oh man, I'm a supervisor, now what? On Amazon or on Audible or directly on my website, jodyholland.com. Can't wait to see you on Facebook land at Jody Holland Training and Speaking. Also can't wait to tweet back to you when you send me your ideas on Twitter at Jody N. Holland. We'll see you on the next vlog. I'm Jody Holland.